when some health related news is reported under the banner of the American Heart Association, everybody wakes up and takes it very seriously. So, if a poster is presented and it says that if you do intermittent fasting, there is a 91% chance that your risk of death due to cardiovascular events will increase, then it is picked up by the media and everybody wants to talk about it. So this breaking news was picked up by Sky TV, it was picked up by NBC as well as Washington Post. And as far as us in India is concerned, Times of India came up with it, and Deccan Herald put a big headline saying that 91% risk of death because of a study. In contrast, if you look at the website of Mayo Clinic, it talks about the benefits of intermittent fasting. And we all know in India the famous Dikshit diet and how it is supposed to help in reducing weight as well as control of type 2 diabetes mellitus. No wonder several Bollywood celebrities like Alia Bhatt, like Mariah Aurora Khan, like Varun Dhawan, and of course our dear Tiger Shroff are following intermittent fasting. And then from Bollywood it got exported to Hollywood, and you can clearly see that some of the very famous actors are following intermittent fasting. Mark Wahlberg and Hugh Jackman are my favorites in this. And the ladies are also not far behind. So you have Cameron Diaz and Jennifer also following this intermittent fasting. So what is the real story about intermittent fasting? Elon Musk lost 20 pounds recently, and you can clearly see that he is moving from fat to fabulous and fit. And he also did intermittent fasting. So we decided to ask Dr. Parekh, what is the fact? Let us know what is the science and what is the evidence about intermittent fasting risks versus benefits. Thank you for coming and interviewing me on this specific topic. It's very important. So let me begin by first talking about where is the science, where is the scientific data, how do we access scientific data to understand what is happening in the world and what are the risks. So it is easily accessible by everybody. It's on the net. It's called PubMed, which stands for Medical Publication, PubMed. It is a service that is provided by the government of the United States, and it is from the National Library of Medicine. This is hosted by the National Department of Statistics, the National Library of Medicine, and the National Institute of Health, all government departments from United States. Now this database has more than 36 million scientific documents. And before it is put up on this database, doctors actually look at each and every aspect. They grill the authors to identify what are the queries that they have, what is the problems, or what is the robustness of the data, and only then it is published here. Now what I did was I searched this PubMed for intermittent fasting, and you can see here that there were 2,350 articles published on this, and the majority of them in the last 5 years. Then I went on to search for Dikshit diet, because we know that in India intermittent fasting is mainly based on what is Dikshit diet. And here you can see again that there are 132 articles in PubMed about Dikshit diet. And in this one now, I have only taken 2 of these articles. One is in an Indian journal and the other one is in an international journal. Now what is the outcome of all this? On behalf of Asian Nutrition Society, what we did next was take an opinion poll of doctors, nutritionists and dietitians. And you can clearly see that 80% of these specialists said that they would not ask their patients to stop intermittent fasting simply based on this data that has been published from China and that has been shown at the American Heart Association. Now let us come to Dr. Zhong's data. Okay, Dr. Zhong is a statistician and epidemiologist from Shanghai in China. His presentation at the American Heart Association was a poster and a press release. Nobody has seen the full data. No scientific journal has published what they are trying to say at the American Heart Institute. In fact, Dr. Zhong himself says that this is only an observational study. We asked people to give their inputs, whether they were doing intermittent fasting or not. There was no provision to verify whether what the people said was true or not. In fact, we don't even know whether they were obese or not, they had diabetes or not, what other medications they were taking for other illnesses or not. So this is very, very preliminary data. We cannot decide anything on the basis of that. So my advice to anybody who is wanting to start intermittent fasting is that please consult your doctor or nutritionist to decide whether you are suitable for that or not. For those who are already on intermittent fasting and are feeling that there is benefit of that, please continue without having the fear that this is going to cause a problem. We have to wait for any data to be absolutely certain whether it is causing an illness. I showed you intermittent fasting and 2,350 publications in PubMed. I can say that not a single one of them says that intermittent fasting is detrimental and causes death. I will not talk about the benefits because this is not the time to do that. But as far as the American Heart Association presentation by Dr. Zhong from China is concerned, that is something that we have to take with a pinch of salt, and we have to wait to verify and scrutinize the full data if and when it is published in a scientific journal. So thank you, Dr. Parikh, for clarifying based on the scientific information. After this thing was blown out of proportion by the media as breaking news, many people who were doing intermittent fasting were interviewed. For instance, you can see Susan saying that I am doing intermittent fasting, I am benefiting from it, and I will continue to do it because it is helping me. So HuffPost decided to say once and for all, let us clarify what exactly is the real summary of what has happened and about the news that intermittent fasting can increase the risk of death by as much as 91%. If we look at the original author, Dr. Zhong, he has himself said that from my poster, which is an observational study, we cannot conclude that intermittent fasting is responsible for death. Okay, very clear. So if you are doing intermittent fasting or if you are planning to do intermittent fasting, there is nothing that should stop you from doing that. We have to understand that the current news is breaking news, which is hype from the agencies to catch eyeballs, and it leaves me wondering whether all of this was something as like an attack against India because we follow Dikshit diet and intermittent fasting in a large number of people. Thank you for watching.